Hey knitters, welcome back to Aro Knits and Purls. I'm your long lost host, Aro of Aro Knits and Purls. As always, you can find my Ravelry, Instagram, Ko-Fi, and Patreon linked in the description below, as well as links to any dyers, makers, designers that I talk about in today's episode. And my goodness, it has been a long time. I really didn't plan on taking a break. It just kind of happened naturally as your girl was super manic for a while. So I've talked about my mental illness before, but quick refresher, I'm bipolar. I am bipolar, and sometimes I go manic, sometimes I go depressive. And usually when I'm manic, the way it works is that I can't sleep, so I just knit because I'm gonna stay up anyway, might as well knit. But it's only happened a few times in my life where I didn't even want to do that. And this was one of those times. So for weeks, I really didn't touch any knitting. I bought a lot of yarn, but I didn't knit. Yeah, but anyway, so this is actually my second time recording because I did record an episode where I go through all of the yarn that I bought while I was manic, and the episode was more than an hour long, and my phone was like, you know what, we're just not doing that. We're not gonna do that. So take two. Real quick, I want to talk about what I'm wearing because I love it so much. And today's the first day of Pride. Pride, LGBT Pride, by the way. I have it on my profile. I'm not secretive about it, but I am bisexual. Not to say that there's only two genders. There's it's not a binary. It's just that's the first term, the first non-heteronormative term that I've identified with and I was exposed to. And so it still resonates with me as a queer individual. So I still use it, but that's not to be trans exclusionary. I guess the official term that I would fall under is pansexual, but I don't want to go into like the labels so much. That's not what this episode is about. It's just about celebrating makes, especially I'm going to talk about, this episode doesn't have a real thing in mind. It's really just I want to catch up because I've missed you guys. I have. Okay, so yeah, so this is in the Wandering Flock Cosmic Mohair, or Cosmic Tie-Dye, pardon me. The colorway is Cosmic Tie-Dye by the Wandering Flock. In her mohair base, I held it double, and I modded the heck out of Parkin Knits pattern Ghost Whisperer top to have a peplum. And in my Ravelry project page, you will see like all the mods that I made on how to make the peplum, like row by row instructions. So it's very easy. The only thing I would change on my next one, and I am making a next one, I'm not gonna do a peplum. Well, I'm not planning on doing a peplum on that one. And I am gonna do a longer neck, lower neck, because like I've talked about, I'm like a cat, so anything close to my neck is just a no-no. And this is just a little bit tight for me personally. But yeah, I am really excited to be wearing this. It's got that ridiculously over-the-top vibe that I'm going for on this first day of Pride. Yeah, so that's that. I also, on the subject of Pride, want to give a shout out to Camellia Fiber Company. She brought back her colorway Rainbow Sprinkles. This is one of my favorite colorways of all time. I use this on, this is the Hudson Valley Pullover. I've shown it to you guys many times. I wore it in an episode, I'm pretty sure. But the colorway, Rainbow Sprinkles, is only available during the month of June, during Pride Month. And 10% of proceeds go to the Trevor Project, which is a project for LGBT youth, which I am very passionate about. It has rainbow sprinkles throughout, as the name suggests. I'm holding, this is on Rainbow Sprinkles worsted, held with a single strand of mohair just undyed. So I don't know how the mohair Rainbow Sprinkles knits up because I haven't used it yet. I'm really trying not to buy it because I bought so much yarn the past couple months. Again, like I said, it was a lot. But anyway, yeah, she has this available for pre-order on her website, and her website will be linked below. So I highly encourage you guys, if you do like this colorway, to go get some because, like I said, it's only available in the month of June, and I love it. Yeah, I'm desperately trying not to get it again because I gotta work on my stash, you guys. yeah, but I'm actually, I have some scraps of that colorway in the worsted weight that I am working on a secret something for the month of Pride for. It's still in the beginning stages, so I won't talk about it yet, but it's a little something something that I think you guys will find exciting. I hope. I don't know. We'll see. Then another finished object I want to talk to you guys about is Bibliophile by Alicia Plummer. So Bibliophile is a simple raglan sweater, but it's kind of what it's definitely a pattern. It's not a recipe. So for those of you who aren't familiar, recipes are more like guidance. They don't actually tell you how many stitches to cast on. They'll just give you like a basic idea of what you want to do. And I don't recommend recipes for new knitters. Just straight up, don't do it. Patterns cost more than recipes. Recipes are generally free, but it's because they give you basically no guidance, no instruction. So if you're really familiar with garments and how they work and like how you want to work on them, the modifications you want to make to fit your body size, you know, like peplum, adding a peplum, doing a puff sleeve, whatever, all of that stuff, like recipes are great for experienced knitters, but for newer knitters or people who don't want to think at all, go with a pattern. That's why they cost more. It's because the designer put in more labor. And I say that because recipes generally allow for a lot of flexibility. Bibliophile is a pattern. She tells you everything's written out, but it comes with so many options that it feels as customizable as a recipe. That's how I like to think about it, because her neck options, like there's like the long turtleneck, there's like a mock neck version, which is slightly lower. Then there's this crew neck, which I did folded over. And yes, the little ribbing is still a little bit slanted, but I'm gonna just deal with it. Like I posted in my stories, like, should I fix it? Should I go back? And some people were like, if I know you, you will. And I was like, y'all don't know me because I'm not doing it. Yeah, I just like, it's not as big of a deal. Like, it's just not going to bother me. Like, it might bother some people when they look at me, but it's not going to bother me, so I'm not going to go back and fix it. Yeah, and I chose to do a slightly crop length with 3/4 sleeves. It's really very easy to wear and easy to dress up or down. So I wore this to the office. It looked great. I wore this to a little plant nursery on a date. It looked great. I really love this piece. I can tell it's gonna get a lot of wear. And this colorway, oh, this colorway. This is another Wandering Flock colorway. This is rose gold, and I'm obsessed. Like the gold speckled throughout, it's so evenly done, and I just, it's so cute. It almost has a tweed effect. So Alicia Plummer, she partnered with a yarn dyer. If you buy from the yarn dyer, I'm gonna link everything. I forget the yarn dyer's names, I'm so sorry. But if you buy from the yarn dyer this kit that she has, it comes in 2 options. The tweed version that Alicia Plummer did her sample in, and this merino mohair that the yarn dyer did, which doesn't have tweed bits. But anyway, if you order from her, you get 40% off the pattern. So kit and pattern. But anyway, I didn't use that one. I used Wandering Flock. But I mentioned that because Alicia's sample had the tweed bits, and the way that this gold works up interspersed throughout, it really makes me think of like gold tweed embedded through my piece. And I did not alternate skeins at all. Maybe I should have, because there's this little section where you can kind of see a line separating, but it's not as stark as I was afraid of. I'm gonna live with it. And on the sleeves, like there is a gradient from light to dark, but it looks really natural to me. So I'm gonna just live with it. It looks it looks intentional to me. And if anyone disagrees with me, too bad. I'm the one wearing it, so yeah. Another pattern that's out that I wanted to talk about is the Merkel pullover by Mary Gannon, I believe. Mary made that up. Again, I'll link everybody in the description below. I love this piece. I still have a sleeve to go, as you can see, but it is a puff sleeve the way I did it. I love that dramatic sudden decrease. I just think it adds a little bit of drama to it. And this texture, gosh, this texture, like Look at it up close. Oh, it's so squishy and soft. So it's knit purl, then knit one row, and then purl knit, knit one row, and then repeats. So it's really easy to incorporate in with the raglan. I would say this is accessible for a first-time knitter. Maybe because of the short rows, maybe not an absolute first-time garment knitter. There are a lot of patterns which don't differentiate between front and back, and maybe that will be more accessible to you if you're first starting out as a garment knitter. But if you've knit a sweater already and you feel confident in short rows, or even not confident, but you're familiar with short rows, heck yeah, this is totally tackleable for an adventurous knitter who's looking for a little bit extra instead of just a stockinette sweater, because this texture is just so, it's so good, it's so squishy. Oh, I love it. And this yarn, for those of you who didn't see in my stories, is this is Wildwood Fibers, and like I think I said this in my last video, I normally don't use yarns immediately after buying them, but for this one it was just serendipitous timing. I needed something light to stand up to this kind of texture, but not detract from the texture, and that's exactly what I got with this colorway Pearlescent from Wildwood Fibers, and I am completely happy with it. Completely happy with it. I just need to finish that one sleeve. Yeah. Okay, so I am going to now talk about my Austin trip. My Austin trip. Okay, so if you guys didn't see my Instagram stories, I went on a trip to Austin. I visited some of my old friends who are knitters, and we had a big old blast. Like, oh, it was so fun to catch up. I've known these girls since I was 20 years old, and the stories they could tell about me truly, not that I made terrible decisions. I did. It's not that like I was getting drunk and going out. I've always been allergic to alcohol. It's not stories like that. It's like, remember that time you went back to your ex after he did this, after he did that, after he did that, after he did that? And I'm like, yep, I remember. I remember. So stories like that. And it's funny now that I'm out of it. But it was a really good time. I had so much fun. And at the end of this video, I'm going to basically compile all the shots of the yarn stores that I visited. I visited 3 yarn stores. They were in chronological order: Gauge, Hill Country Weavers, and the Sated Sheep. Gauge Yarn is the first local yarn store that I ever shopped at. Actually, like, I first went to them when I was 20 years old. I had never really bought not big box store yarn before. And I went because I was kind of looking for a community. I felt very lost. It's weird now because I feel like a completely different person, but then I was not confident. It was not a great time, and I was just looking for someone to connect with. So I started shopping at Gauge, and I started going to the knit nights there once a week, and I did participate, but it never really felt like I found my tribe, to, you know, appropriate that term. I shouldn't say that. I've never felt a true sense of belonging. Not to knock Gauge. I love Gauge. They're wonderful, and the owners have always been wonderful to me. The owners are currently Melissa and Erin, and they're very, very sweet women. And I got a photo with Melissa because she has literally known me since I was 20 years old, and it's kind of just crazy that now here I am almost 29. But yeah, I did buy some yarn from there, not as much as I put in my stories. Like, I was like, oh, these are my picks, and I picked a lot, but I didn't get all of them. I just picked a couple things. So this is one of them. This is Ito yarn, Japanese milled. Awayuki is the line. So it's this really interesting floofy texture with these little tiny loops, if you can see those in the individual strands. This incorporates mohair. Let's see, it is 80% mohair, 20% silk. So it's very soft, and like I said, it's got a very interesting texture. I think I'm gonna hold it double with maybe some plain fingering weight yarn, just so you get that texture added to it. The other thing that I got there was from Chrysalis Yarn Co. Yeah, so I have talked to Chrysalis Yarn Co. many times on Instagram. I consider her a friend, but only through Instagram. We've never had the fortune of meeting in person. But this is her Surrey base. I was really excited that they had this in stock because you guys know I love me a mint. I love me mint. I have this whole mint section going on now. I love mint, and I don't have a lot of Surrey. I have a lot of mohair, which I've talked about as well. And this is her eponymous colorway. So her yarn line is called Chrysalis Yarn Co. and this yarn is called Chrysalis. So it's very important to her yarn line, and it happens to be one of my favorite colors. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. Yeah, that's gonna live in the mint section actually. Shocking, I know. Let me put this one away. Let me put this to the side. That was what I got at Gauge. The second yarn store, Hill Country Weavers. I've talked about them many times because they have their own, like they sell yarn that's undyed, and it's a really great way to try out different bases. I showed you guys their camel. I showed you guys a tweed one once. Like what else did I show you? I showed you a bunch of their stuff. I really love it. And Hill Country Weavers is a great location because they are right next to Radio Coffee and Bar. It is both a coffee shop and a bar, depending on what time of day you go. Sometimes it's both, depending on what time of day you go. And they also have a bunch of food trucks in the patio. So Austin, it's quite warm, so they maximize that weather by having a lot of outdoor patio seating. People eat. I don't enjoy that because I sweat so much. I'm sweating right now, just wearing this mohair inside, and it's air conditioned and I'm sweating. So like Austin is truly, it's a challenge. But anyway, yeah, they have really great food trucks. There's Veracruz All Natural Tacos. Veracruz has excellent tacos, breakfast tacos especially. So what I like to do is when I lived in Austin, every Saturday morning, I would go to Radio Coffee before Hill Country Weavers opened. I would go to Radio Coffee, get a coffee, go out on the patio, get a breakfast taco, have my breakfast, and then go to Hill Country, make bad decisions there. I'm kidding. Yeah, so it's a great place to spend your time. And Hill Country Weavers recently redid their back patio area to include lots of seating and landscaped. It's just beautiful. You'll see it in the video again at the very end of this video because I didn't want to edit it in. You guys know I'm lazy, I'm sorry. But anyway, it's at the end and you'll see it and it's beautiful. So it's a really great place to spend time, meet up with people. If you're ever in the Central Texas area, I highly recommend it. And even if you're not just happening to be near the area, take a trip to Austin. It's a great city. It's a great city. I love it and I miss it. The only reason I would never live there again is the heat. Yeah. But I did get some yarn there because I had to. It's Hill Country Weavers. I have to. It's a tradition. Who am I to spit in the face of tradition? Okay, so they happen to be one of the US stockists for La Bien Aimée, and y'all know I love LBA yarn. Let me just twist that around. Okay, so this is one colorway I got, and it's this very beautiful speckled, softly variegated pastel yarn, which, you know, shocking, I know. It is a little bit different in that this is a BFL base. So that's blue-faced Leicestershire, whatever. I'm sorry to all my UK listeners. I lived in London for 7 months, but I still do not understand how y'all pronounce those things. Yeah, BFL is how I'll say it, BFL. But yeah, so this is LBA's BFL Tough Sock Base, and that is 75% blue-faced Leicester. I'm pretty sure it's Leicester. It's not spelled that way, and you guys know it. But anyway, and 25% nylon. So it's very springy, very tough, and it's gonna hold up really well to any wear and tear, which I kind of wear my knits a little bit rough. And I know I should be more delicate, but I'm not a very delicate person. I just like the colors. I like to trick people into thinking I'm delicate, and then I talk and I'm like, I sound like this normally. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so this colorway is called Tickle, and it is just so pretty. Look at those delicate speckles. little pops of neon color. It's just so pretty. I am obsessed. Ugh. Yeah, so that's one colorway I got. The other colorway I got, and yes, I did get two. In my defense, I had to, because I have wanted this colorway for literally years. Probably 3 years I've been looking at this colorway. This is the colorway Ichigo, which is the Japanese word for strawberry. And it was destined for me. We were destined for each other. The base is this delicate, it's not delicate, it's a peach, it's a happy peach pink. And the speckles are this darker pink with neon, and it's just so summery, and it makes me happy to see. And I've admired this online for literally years, but like at the time, every time I wanted it and I had the money to buy it, it was sold out on her website and sold out with her stockist. And then when I didn't have the money to buy it, that's when she had it restock. And so it just never lined up. But here we are. I got to see it in person at Hill Country, and I got it, and I'm so happy I did because I love it so much. And I can't wait to use it, especially for a summer tea, because it is so cute. Okay. Then the last thing I got at Hill Country Weavers are these big boys. Okay. So you're probably looking at this like, what exactly am I looking at? Because that was my reaction. I had no idea what this was. I mean, obviously I could identify, here is slub yarn, here's mohair. How are they combined? So it's more complicated. It looks more complicated than it is. It's each bundle is a skein of mohair and a skein of fingering slub, and full size skeins of both. So for the fingering slub, it's 100 grams. For the mohair, it's 50 grams. And this bundle, 2 skeins of yarn, is $56. That's a great price. How that breaks down, it's really reasonable. And I got 2 of the same colorway called Glamping. And this, if you can't read from all my moving it around, is Emma's yarn. I have shown you Emma's yarn before, I'm pretty sure. I do like her yarn. And I was really excited about the prospect of using these combined, because I've talked about slub fingering before. I don't like it held single. I have a project, I think I showed you guys maybe last year, with it held single. Not my favorite, not my favorite. But when I held it with fingering, I liked it a lot because it evened out the look to something a little bit more consistent, which is what I liked about it. And I think the mohair will achieve the same thing while still keeping it a fingering weight or sport. So I'm really excited about the idea of holding them together. And also, it really does just look cool like this. Like it does. It looks cool. And it's going to go great against my skin, of course. Although I probably look really yellow right now in this light because it's really yellow out. Anyway, but yeah, I'm really excited about this. Hill Country Weavers has so much amazing yarn. You guys will see in the video. I miss it. I do. But again, I won't live in Austin. It's too dang hot. Austin is good for like maybe 2 months out of the year. Nothing else really. Okay, then let's see. I feel like I'm missing a skein. Nope, it's right here. Okay. Then the next place I went to is the Seda Cheap. The Seda Cheap is going to be interesting to a lot of you guys who are thinking about visiting, because the Seda Cheap actually sells wine and beer, like to drink there. So you can have a drink while you have your little knit night and or knit circle. Like my friends and I, we all went and knit together and like just chatted, caught up. And I don't drink, but they're having little sips. And it's just a really great time. And the owner, Allison, is a wonderful lady, wonderful lady. She's doing a great job keeping that place well stocked and with a lot of tempting options. I, at this point, did not have a lot of money. So I didn't get a lot. So I can't credit that to my self-control, but anyway, I still held back. I could have gone harder, but I didn't. She carries Tote Le Matin. This is cotton, tote cotton, and I'm obsessed with this. I showed you guys this before in the outline tank for Jessie May that I did in the colorway Coral. This is the colorway Gold, or Golden rather, and I love it. It's this very, 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 very soft yellow with pink variegation, subtle changes in the yarn with speckles, of course. So yeah, and it's 50% cotton, 50% merino, so it is summer friendly, and I'm really excited to make a tank with it. It's just been so hot these days. I've been thinking more and more about tanks, even though I'm generally not a tank person. It's just so dang hot. Yeah, so that's what I got, as well as, again, summer fibers. I got some knitting for Olive. You might have seen this in my Instagram grid already. I did share a photo. I know what you guys are thinking, not my normal colors. Not my normal colors, for those of you who haven't seen this in the grid. Yes, I decided to go with some things that were a little bit different. So Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, like the name suggests, it is pure silk, 100%. This colorway is called Sunflower, and this one is Dusty Artichoke. And I've wanted Dusty Artichoke for a long time, but I wasn't sure it would look good against my skin, because on the screen, obviously it's gonna look different than it does in real life, so I couldn't really get a full understanding of how it would look. But when I held it up, actually, I think it'll look quite cute. Yeah, so, and Sunflower is similar to the colorway Tupelo Honey that I used last year for my Bessie crop, the really gold tee that I made, and I love it. So I'm gonna have more gold and a little bit more green in my life, and not dark green, which is interesting, but I'm excited. I'm actually planning on using this right now for a test, like right now, that I'm gonna cast on after this video. But yeah, so that's some more yarn I got. I'm gonna talk about some non-Austin yarn now. So, okay. On the Austin trip, real quick, on the Austin trip. I didn't buy this on the Austin trip, but Suburban Stitcher came up all the way from Katy, Texas. I'm pretty sure she lives in Katy, which is right outside Houston, which is 2 hours away from Austin. So this lovely lady drove 2 hours to meet with me and my friends, and she brought me presents. Like, she brought us all presents. She gave us this new bag that's about to hit her shop. It's her brand, obviously, Suburban Stitcher. And this adorable notebook. It's metallic rose gold. She was like, oh, I had a metallic gray and a metallic rose gold, and I think I knew which one you wanted. And I was like, yeah, you picked well. And that logo is so freaking cute. Like, you could see the skein of yarn, flowers, and like, what's not to love about yarn and flowers? Those are like my two great passions, right? But yarn that I didn't buy from her then, I had this already in my stash, and I'm using on a test knit now, and I realized I should have brought it over to you guys to show you, but I can show you in the next video, so I'll have things to show you in the next video. I'm using this from Suburban Stitcher. This is the colorway Nudie Patootie. I've shown you guys this before, I'm pretty sure, because it is literally one of my top 10 colorways ever. It is so pretty. It's this cream base with soft variegations of pink, speckles of pink, and like this orange, brown. You can see it on this mohair as well. It looks amazing. And I cannot tell you guys how much I love this. The colorway Nudie Patootie, also an adorable name, just adorable. But yeah, this is literally one of my top 10 colorways. I've been saving this for a long time because I love this so much. But I finally found the perfect pattern for it, and I'll show you guys next time. Don't hate me. But yeah, so thank you again to Suburban Stitcher for coming all the way up to meet me and bringing me presents when your presence was all the present that I needed. I know that was lame, but let me get away with it. I've been away for a while, you know? Yeah. I felt very loved. I felt very lucky to have so many amazing friends and be able to eat so much good food. Had a great time. Glad to be back. Another non-Austin yarn that I'm going to talk about. So Colourway Collective reached out to me. So Patricia is her name. She's a 30-something knitter and sewer. She has her own podcast, which is in the description below, like all the others that I've talked about. And she recently launched this initiative, this company basically, to connect knitters with indie dyers, because when you're starting out with indie dyeing or like buying indie yarn, it's really hard to figure out like who's who. I remember when I first started, like I didn't know anything. I felt like there was a barrier to access it just because you needed to follow the right people, but how do you know who to follow? And her business, Colourway Collective, is a place where you can see all these really great dyers, and she's partnering with them to create exclusive colorways for her shop. And she wanted to gift me one, Rainbows and Sprinkles. This is an Australian dyer, and this exclusive colorway is called Mint Julep from Rainbows and Sprinkles, and it is so pretty. And Patricia, the woman who's running Colourway Collective, she picked the soft skeins for me. She asked, like, do you want more pink or do you want more mint? And I chose mint. Mint. Yeah. And I feel very, very blessed that she asked me to accept it, really. Yeah, I'm really excited about this. It is an Australia-based company that she started, but she is going to start offering international shipping. So please check that out. And again, her podcast and the website to Colourway Collective are linked in the description below. So yeah, thank you again, Patricia, because these are so pretty and I love them. Okay, then another podcaster with yarn. So I've talked about Michael Sean before. Michael is one of the first podcasters who gave me a shout out on his podcast, which was very nice and lovely. And he gave y'all a coupon for a free pattern, I think, if I remember correctly, in one of my old videos. Yeah. So he's very sweet, and he supported me from the beginning. And I recent-ish, bought yarn from him too, so I can show you guys that. So this is his branding, and it is this lovely soft peach pink. You guys know I'm a sucker for peach pink, and it has these beautiful gold pink speckles throughout. Like, so cute, so cute. I got a whole sweater quantity. I always get a sweater quantity, even if I only show you guys a few. It's just because my hands can't hold it. I get a lot of questions about that, and I'm like, guys, if you want to watch me struggle to hold yarn, like, just go to my local yarn shop and you can watch me do that in person. I'm kidding. But yeah, so I'm only showing you two, but I did get sweater quantity of this beautiful colorway called Peachy Keen, and I love it. Peachy Keen. It is so stinking cute. And because he's an absolute doll, along with Kate, his co-host on their podcast, they included a bar of handmade soap, and it is so cute. It smells of coconut oil and olive oil. It includes those ingredients, I'm guessing, too, so it smells like it. But it has these, like, orange glitter bits in it. Yeah, it's a very nice androgynous scent with these gorgeous orange glitter bits. And if you haven't seen Michael's grid, I would say orange glitter perfectly describes him. Yes, but I'm really grateful that he included this little gift, as well as for this yarn, because it's so pretty. I'm so glad I bought it. Yeah, I was on the last leg of my trip home from visiting my father, which, yikes. Yeah, so I ordered that to cheer me up, and it did the trick. It did the trick because it's so pretty. The last yarn I will talk about, because this episode, I can't let it get that long. My phone will just quit on me again. The last yarn I will show you is from Tiny Human Knits, and I adore this. This is the colorway Gilly. It's this oatmeal soft neutral with these very earthy brown orange speckles throughout. And I am very excited to have it. I've wanted her yarn for a very long time, but I've always missed out. You can see here, there's even like some purple in the speckles. Like, it's very earthy. It's very organic. I love it. I can't wait to make something out of it. But I wanted to give a special shout out to her. I did it in my stories, but I wanted to make sure I put it, forever in this video, because she also sent me a skein of yarn. So she said one batch turned out a little bit pinker than the others, and she wanted to send me an extra skein just as a little present. And I was like, well, I'm certainly not going to say no, to an extra skein of yarn. And what I wasn't expecting, though, is it turned out a little bit pinker than the others, like I said. Like, you could see there's a difference. And on the back, she wrote my name. She wrote it RO. And she did tell me that while she was dyeing up Gilly for the first time, she like told herself to like, remember, speckle delicately, RO likes delicate. And I was like, that is the sweetest thing. Like, I cannot believe that anyone thinks of my opinion as worthwhile when they make beautiful magic like yarn. And not gonna lie, I was in a rough place. When I got this. So like, I straight up cried. It was just so sweet and touching. And yeah, I just, you guys. I just love you guys. I really do. I know I've been gone, and I think it was good for me. If you haven't seen in my stories, I have been dating one individual exclusively, which is funny because a month and a half ago, I was very vocal about it with my friends and family. I was like, I don't want a relationship anymore. Like, I don't think I ever want to be in one again. My last one was just not good for me. And I was reaching a point in dating where I was like, I don't think any relationship is good for me. Or maybe I'm not good for any relationship. Either way, I didn't want one anymore. And then I happened to meet someone who kind of threw all that out the window. If you want to skip ahead to the yarn stuff, go right ahead. I won't be offended, but it's still in the early stages, but it's good. He's very, 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 very sweet and thoughtful, to an extent that I've never experienced from a romantic partner before. Like, my friends are lovely to me, and we do amazing things for each other, and I'm used to that. My mother and I, you know, we loved and supported each other and did things for each other. But I have never been the one to take in a relationship before. And it's very foreign, but like, it's nice. It's nice to have someone who like listens to me and who like cares about me as an individual. Like, because I met him when I was really manic, so I wasn't sleeping. I was super energetic. Like, I wanted to do things. So when I started, you know, stabilizing, I was worried. I was like, what if he gets bored? And what if he realizes that I'm not the same person that he met? So even though it was early on in the relationship, I told him like, hey, I'm bipolar, which I generally don't like to tell people I date until I know it's like worthwhile. But I thought in this case, the change was just so drastic that he deserved some explanation. So I told him, and usually the reaction I get when I tell somebody I'm dating that I'm bipolar is, oh, well, what do I need to know? Which is a nicer way to say, how is this going to affect my life? And I respect that position, because if it was an option for me to not introduce that into my life, I would take it. Yeah, like, I'd want to know what I was getting myself into, right? So I don't resent people for thinking that way. I don't. But when I told this individual, I call him Flower Guy in my Instagram stories. When I told Flower Guy that I was bipolar, his response was, well, what do I need to know? And in my head, I thought, oh, well, there it is. But that wasn't the end. He said, well, what do I need to know to help you? And like, that was very jarring for me, because no one had ever asked me that before. And that's just one silly example of like how patient and considerate and thoughtful he's been. And I'm just like, every weekend, if you have not watched my stories, every weekend is me reeling, going like, what is this? How do I do this? What is happening? Yeah. So anyway, I'm really happy these days, like stupid happy. So glad to be back. Enjoy the clips of the yarn stores. Make a trip yourself. It is so worthwhile. And I will see you guys very, very soon, because I have more stuff to show you, because I realized, you know, while I was recording this, all the things that I forgot to bring over here. So yeah, you'll see me very soon again. And have a wonderful day, knitters. And I've missed you all, and I love you all. Bye. Hi everybody, I'm at Gage Yarn right now. Gage was actually the first ever yarn store that I'd been to, like local yarn store that I'd ever been to. I started going here when I was an undergrad, when I first moved to Austin back in like 2012. And I actually worked here when I was a student because I just needed a little bit extra yarn money. You know how it goes. But it's my first time back in 2 years, so let's see how it goes. Yeah, that's the sign, by the way, Gauge. I love it. Now we're in here. It's organized by gauge, generally. There's a big old wall when you walk in. Right now, they have a bunch of hazel knits, which was one of the first indie dyers that I'd ever bought, and I got it through Gauge. So this is a blast from the past, truly. There's a lot of yarn. Oh, I actually came in here a bit earlier, so I've already picked out what I want. And I know it's shocking. I'm really coming out of my comfort zone. But yes. Those are the owners, Aaron and Melissa, and they're really wonderful people. And it just goes on. It's full of yarn. Full of yarn.
Absolutely. We'd love to see it when you're done. It looks like it's going to be
They're
beautiful.
waving. There's so much. And that's my friend Alicia, but she didn't want to be on video. So I'm trying to respect their wishes. Linen Kestrel. And they have a little room. I used to come back here and knit like all the time. All the time. And there's a little sale room area too. Yeah, they have an online shop, so if y'all want to check that out. Hi everybody, we are at Hill Country Weavers now. This is probably, if I'm honest, my favorite yarn store in Austin because it has the best selection of indie dyed yarns of any of them. And I used to come here when I was in law school, like every weekend, and hang out. Also, they have really cute patio, and that's the front patio. The back patio is brand new. Oh, hi, that's me, by the way. And let's just go in, if I can find the doorknob. Okay, here we are. There's like 3 main rooms. This is the more commercial stuff, and no offense to anyone who uses commercial, y'all know I support you and love you, but I prefer this main room. And in the main room, this right here is a custom color for this shop from La Bien Aimée. It's the first thing you see when you walk in. It's La Bien Aimée, or at least it's the first thing I see. And I did get some. I got a little bit La Bien Aimée because I had to. There's Mad Taj. There's everything here. There's a whole wall of whatchamacallit, Spin Cycle, Farmer's Daughter, a lot of Farmer's Daughter, Julie Asselin. Oh, that's Suzanne, the owner. She's lovely. That's Kywin. Kywin is the best enabler in the state of Texas. There's some Julie Asselin all down here. And there's Suburban Stitcher. There's Suburban Stitcher yarn, which you guys know I love. And this is the Hill Country undyed line that they have. I've talked about it in my videos before. Life in the Long Grass. They got cocoon yarn. They have some hoagie bags. They have these like really cute cocoon yarn sets. And these are my friends. Hi.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm not editing it. You know I can't edit, right? I don't edit. And there's Shibui, and there's actually like a third room, which is like a classroom, and then in a bag notion room. A lot of books too. It's like a little library in there. But yeah, so like I said, Hill Country is my favorite. And speaking of Suburban Stitcher, guess what we have? Yeah. Yeah. So if you're ever in the Austin area, you should definitely come check this place out because it's my favorite. Okay, and I totally forgot to show you the new patio that they got. Oh, that's a push door. Okay, so this is their little back patio, and it's brand spanking new. They partnered with like an outdoor design company to set up all these little cute seating areas. And they're well shaded, which in Austin is very important. It is so hot, y'all. I am not used to it anymore. But I just think it's so dang cute. There's so many places to sit and hang out. And in the spring and fall and winter, I say winter, it's never cold here. It'll just be so lovely. And like, look at those cute little swings. It's aesthetic. It's aesthetic. So, and there's a coffee shop right next door. It's called Radio Coffee, and I used to go there every week too. And they also have food trucks. I had this morning for breakfast, I had briskets, which is brisket and biscuits. It's amazing. So yeah, grab a coffee, grab some food, and come out here and knit because it is so dang cute. Okay, now we're in the Sated Sheep. The Sated Sheep actually sells wine and beer as well as yarn. So like you can have sips. You can sips with your knitting, and it's really fun. There's quite a bit. We browbeat Suburban Stitcher into joining us here. So she's here, and there's like quite a bit. It kind of makes me feel like I'm walking through a yarn library, which I know some of y'all think is my stash, but it's not. My stash is curated, whereas a library is in abundance. And I'm sorry I sound like this. I'm just really sleepy. But yeah, this is about a 30-minute drive from Hill Country Weavers. So many weekends I would like do the rounds, go to Hill Country, get some coffee, get some food, and then come here. Yeah, and it's really cute. It's worth visiting. Like, how cute are these decorations? If someone wants to make me these giant crochet hearts, please and thank. Yeah, so I highly recommend coming in. Oh, and that's the drinks, so yeah.